guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you this DXA Designs Jean Grey Garage kit from Age of Apocalypse that was sculpted by Sheridan Doose that I just finished up. I really love this kit. It actually came in a package where you get Jean Grey and Wolverine. At the end of the video I will show you them two together. But this Jean Grey is just awesome. I really like the design. I am a huge fan of Age of Apocalypse. So when I was asked to do this, I was like, yes, definitely, I want to definitely paint these up. And I really love the design of the character. They did a little bit of liberty on some of the elements. And I really like the idea that they use the Infinite Soldiers from the comic book storyline as the base instead of just throwing like Sentinels in. I understand that, you know, a lot of X-Men stuff these days have Sentinel bases, but at least when Age of Apocalypse, we're actually throwing in the Infinite Soldiers, so that was pretty cool. I really liked the design. It was really, the kit was really well done. It was done by Ownage. If you watch the kit review, I explain all that, show everything in its raw form. But it was a lot of fun. So we'll get in a little bit closer. We'll break it all down. Some parts were tricky here and there, but mostly it's just straight up just plugging away and doing all the details. Alright, so we're going to break down everything that I did with her. So she does come in a separate piece of the upper body here, and then her leg, and this left leg is one piece, and then this leg over here is separated as well. And they had magnets in them, so if you watch the kit review, you can see everything that was pretty much pieced together. So putting it together, I was talking to the client, I said, you know, it doesn't really make sense to leave the magnets in here for a couple of reasons. One, over time, if the magnets do go out on you, or say you're going to move her and you didn't realize it was all magnetized, or say it's on the shelf and it's very wobbly and you knock it, you could run into a lot of problems. So I said, you know what, it's better we take out the magnets here, and we take out the magnets here, and we make this whole body solid. Plus, the other thing too is, if I didn't do that, I also had to kind of line up this foot with this peg here. So I actually had to re-Dremel the peg in this foot and kind of line it up, just to make life easier, make sure it goes in and out nice and smooth. So that's pretty much that as far as like custom work I did there. And then one of the other things too is this head piece to this metal piece goes in and out. I did add a magnet in here so this can be removable, only because it's easier to do for packing and stuff. Because underneath here there's all these little pieces of wires and stuff hanging out at the bottom. So it's better not to have this as a one piece and that breaks on you. So I didn't want to really do that. But other than that, everything, all the other magnets are fine. They stick in no problem, and they hold their power, and it worked out pretty well. I also like that the clear power on her hand actually connects, and that you don't actually have to glue it on. It actually just pretty much clicks right over her wrist there and over there, and it works out pretty fine, and you have no issues with it whatsoever. So as far as the paint up goes, her flesh tone is all Garage Kit's flesh tones. Ultrafine transfer detail eyes. I gave her a nice, you know, like reddish, orangey hair type. I didn't want to go just pure red because I didn't want it to fight with her red outfit. So we kind of, you know, more with the redhead like that. Now, as far as her upper body outfit here, we kind of went more of like, you know, not really latex, like a shiny leather type look. It's got some interference of blues in there and some pearl blues as well. Only because if you look at the cover, the artwork, they have that kind of a blue like shine to it. So the idea is we're following the cover of Weapon X, because that's kind of where this art and design was taken from. And then to break it up, I decided to, you know, go with this like, you know, gunmetal of the back pieces and the stripes around here in the back. So I figured it would break it up a little bit more, and it would just kind of, it wouldn't be just all one solid color. So I went with that. As far as her tattoo on her face, I like the idea that there was already lines scored in from the design, so you can actually just work out the lines. At first I did some transparency color on it, but it just didn't look right, and it didn't look like the comic, so I kind of went back in and I made it more of a solid color, and I think that worked a little bit better with that. As far as her red outfit goes, I wanted to break this up a little bit more too. So I did, you know, basically a red with a little bit of interference in it, and then I went with a darker red in some of the lines just to kind of break that up and just, you know, separate it. Now, as far as her belt goes, we were talking about the belt, and if you look in a comic book, sometimes during that era, they sort of would color the outfit and belts differently. Sometimes, like if you look at the cover, they did like the whole belt is kind of yellow until it gets up to over here. It was all brown, and then if you look in the comic books, it was all different. So since this is kind of like a take on it, I just said, you know, why don't should we do all yellow, or should we do brown pouches or brown belt? So we got to talking. So what I did is I painted this in kind of like a brown suede belt. It's kind of like some dry brush, and then I found this really nice leather paint, and then I did some very light dry brushing onto it to give it like that suede look. And then what we did is we did the yellow pouches, because she has yellow pouches in there, so you got to kind of go with the artwork. But then to kind of break it up, I used some of that browns around the leather pouches and around the other stuff. Then we did some gold on these metal pieces around there. And then over here it's kind of like a yellowish dry brush and different texture on those, just to break those up too. So it's just a matter of having some fun with it. And as far as the blue goes, it's kind of like a really rich dark blue with some shading, a little tiny interference, not too much. We wanted to keep the outfit sort of flat, or almost like a satin, and then make the shirt and jacket kind of like, you know, more of that like leathery PVC shiny leather look. It's kind of like what we wanted to go with there. Now, once we got through all that, I did the base on this. Now, the base was a lot of detail. They really added so much detail on this base. And if you actually own the Age of Apocalypse statue, there's a couple elements from this item that are on the Apocalypse statue, which I noticed is kind of cool. And you know, I would love to put this next to the Apocalypse and stuff. And then DXA's also got the Nate Gray coming out too. So I mean, if you get all their Age of Apocalypse items, it's going to be one hell of a display. So on painting this, I'm really falling in love with the Spaztec colors. I really like their colors. So what I did is I primed this all up. I cleaned anything I needed to clean. I did a nice gloss black paint all over it. And then I did the Spaztec chrome paint on it. And then I went with the Spaztec candy apple clear paint. Now the only problem with the candy apple clear is the cans go through it very, very fast. It's not as simple as like one can. It's almost like one can per base, or 1.5 cans, because the client asked me he really wanted to have a deeper green to like the comics than a lighter green. So I said, alright, not a problem. So it was just a matter of doing a couple layers of that. And then once I did all the layers and everything, it was just a matter of detailing it all up to make it look like it's gotten, you know, bashed up, armored, like, you know, some dry brushing of metalwork and some washes around all those areas. You know, some of the areas around here, like even if you look at the comics, the neck is like a metal kind of chrome, and then I brought out all these details around there. Certain other things too I would add, like, you know, around here, just basically, what is it, rubber paint that I have, from Vallejo, I think it is, or the model, I forget which one it was, but I added that around there. I worked out these little pieces. So I figured, even though it wasn't sculpted on, if these little wires are broken out and they have copper on them, they would have red like wire, and then at the very end would be the copper. So that's kind of what I was doing. So I put like reds, blues, and blacks, and then at the very end it would be like kind of copper broken out. That's kind of what I wanted to bring out of that. And then as far as any details in here, I would just add random stuff around in there and everything. Over here you can see I added a different type of green metallic just to break that up a little bit more. Add some more little details up and down in here. And then as far as these magenta areas, as you can see, the eye and over here, that is actually alclad chrome and then clear aqua with what is it, the magenta from Badger Colors. And I kind of had to do like my blow dry it and do the clear, blow dry and do the clear, and I got that, like, you know, chromed out like look to it. So that's currently what we're going with there. And then other than that, there will be a sticker and padding underneath, but I didn't get that stuff in yet. So it's pretty much all said and done. I mean, it's just a really great statue. Sheridan did a great job on this. I really like the sculpt. I love the design of it, and it's just really cool. I like that the powers are there, so you can actually take the powers on and off if you want them on, or take them off. She goes in and out of the base no problem. Arms are magnetized, so she breaks down very well. So if you ever had to pack and move her or do whatever, it really works out pretty cool. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I mean, just an awesome statue. So at the end of this video, we'll show the Wolverine and Jean Grey together, so you can see both of them and get the idea of how this kit set was pretty much sold. So you got the Jean and Wolverine, so you'll be able to see them both together all finished up. So thanks for watching, and let's get on to those two. Okay, so here is the setup with Wolverine and Jean Grey together. It's a great Age of Apocalypse set from DXA Designs. Had a lot of fun working on these items, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys at the end of this video of them together. Normally, sometimes, you know, I get items where I can only show you one item and I don't get the other, but since I've been working on a couple of these, it's kind of cool to finish them up and have them together as a nice display. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.